In this video, I'm going to show you how to perform a focus pull on your smartphone using 3 different Android camera apps: FiLMiC Pro, McPro24fps, and ProTake. FiLMiC Pro and ProTake are also available for iPhone, so you can rack focus with those apps on iOS the same way. In case you don't know what a focus pull is, it's when you move focus from one object to another during the shot. Normally, we set and lock focus and then start recording, but when we rack focus, we move the focus length as we're shooting. A focus pull is one of the most commonly used filmmaking techniques by professional filmmakers. One of the big lessons you must learn as an aspiring filmmaker is that your job is to direct your audience to what you want them to look at. So you can do that with an edit, you can do that with a camera movement, and you can do that with a frame within a frame. Or you can do that by moving or racking focus, as it's known. Now, we can rack focus by hand and do a pretty good job, but these 3 apps allow you to automate the focus pull, which is generally smoother and more accurate. However, each app is slightly different in the way it works. So let's find out which of these apps creates the best focus pulls. Open FiLMiC Pro and bring out the exposure and focus wheels. To change focus, just drag with your finger up and down on the focus wheel. Okay, so if I find 2 points I want to move focus between, and now have a go practicing moving between them a bit. You might want to switch the analytics tools on here for automatic focus peaking. Right, now I set the first point. Hit record, wait a couple of seconds just to give myself some edit room, and now drag the wheel with my finger to the second point and hope I hit it accurately. Again, I leave a few seconds edit room and stop recording. Okay, so that's the non-automated way of doing it. It's obviously easier to do this with the camera fixed on a tripod and not moving around. So how do we automate this process in FiLMiC Pro? Again, find and set your first focus point, and now tap on that point on the focus wheel. You should see this little white line slide around the wheel, and this means that you have set the first point. Now find and set the second focus point. Again, tap until the second little white line slides around. If there is enough gap between the 2 points, a small arrow will appear between them on the wheel. So you can tap this arrow and FiLMiC Pro will rack focus for you, moving from the first point you set to the second. So tap the arrow again and it will go back the other way. If there's less room between the 2 points, there won't be an arrow. You'll just see the 2 markers. To start the focus pull in this case, tap the marker line instead. So, hit record, give yourself a couple of seconds of edit space, start the focus pull, wait for it to finish, and add another couple of seconds, and then stop. You can set the speed with which FiLMiC Pro pulls focus. This white controller on the right of the wheel controls the speed. Move it up and down to set speed from 1 to 10. 1 is obviously the slowest, 10 the fastest. It seems a bit glitchy on this device, which is a Samsung Note 20 Ultra. But I've used it on my S9 without this glitch. There's a bit of a delay when I move it and you have to wait for it to catch up. Anyway, it still works. Set the speed of the focus pull depending on your shot. What effect do you want the shot to have? The slower the focus pull, the more obvious it will be. And of course, the greater distance between the objects, the more obvious it will be too. Open up ProTake and switch to Pro mode. Like FiLMiC Pro, you have 2 control wheels, one for exposure, one for focus. Again, you can pull focus just moving the wheel with your finger, but the wheel is smaller, so it's not as easy to get it smooth and accurate this way. So you'll see this little marker here, labeled B. It's grayed out until you choose a focus point and tap it. Now when you move the wheel, it changes to this A to B marker. So the end point is B and the start point of your focus pull is wherever you move the wheel. Okay, so I've set the B point and moved the wheel to the starting focus point. Now I hit record, give myself a couple of seconds, and then tap this A to B marker and the focus slides smoothly to the B marker I set earlier. As far as I know, there's no way to change the speed of the focus pull in the ProTake app. With McPro24fps, these 2 arrow buttons set the focus pull running as well as mark the A and B point. You can switch focus peaking on in the settings menu if you just tap the cog icon at the bottom of the screen. So again, find your first focus point and now tap and hold on one of these arrow buttons, and this will set the top or bottom limit of the focus movement. McPro24fps is a bit different in that the range of focus, marked in orange, shrinks when you set a limit. So now when I set the bottom limit, you see the black focus line sits right at the bottom of the wheel, and rather than marking the position along the wheel, it sort of removes it. So now I move focus to the second top position. Again, I long hold on the top marker. You see they turn orange when the limit is set. And the McPro24fps cuts off the top. So now this orange portion of the wheel is marking the distance between the two focus points. So hit record, wait 2 secs. Now press whichever of these two arrows is going in the direction I want, and the focus pull takes place. Wait another 2 seconds, hit stop. Like FiLMiC Pro, McPro24fps allows you to set the speed of the focus pull. Just tap the cog icon which sits between the two marker arrows and use the slider to adjust the time. McPro24fps also has another setting which allows you to adjust how the focus pull arrives at its final position. So basically, with this you adjust how it eases in. Rather than snapping to the last position, it should slow down and then stop to add a little extra sweetness to the focus pull. Most smartphones have a wide lens with a wide depth of field as their main camera. This can make it harder to create an impressive focus pull, because the change between focus doesn't show up as much as when you use a long lens. As well, third-party apps don't have access to a telephoto lens even if your device has one, which is sadly the case with my Samsung Note 20 Ultra. No app can access the telelens, even Samsung's own native Pro video mode. Silly Samsung. You see, everything within the depth of field is in focus, so when you adjust focus, you're not really adjusting a single point. You're moving this focus range, so your focus pull will be more effective if this range is narrow, which is what you get from a telelens. Another advantage of using a telelens is it narrows the field of vision. In this shot I have the leaf very close and the lamp on the side table, which is about 5 feet or 1.5 meters away. Now, with the native wide lens of the Samsung S9, the lamp looks quite small in the frame. But if we're directing the viewer's attention from one object to another, the effect is diminished when the second object is so small. It's not so clear what we're directing the audience to. Remember what I was talking about? How filmmaking is about directing the audience's attention to things. But with a telelens, we can narrow the field of view and make it clearer what we're telling the audience to look at. Now, I love this Ulanzi 65mm teleconverter lens. It's very affordable and really good quality as well. I was surprised at how good quality this is. I think I picked this up for about $25–30. Now see the difference between the two shots. When I'm using the tele, the focus pull is stronger, in my opinion anyway. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, which is the best? Well, ProTake is certainly the easiest to use when it comes to setting the automatic focus pull. On the downside, you can't adjust speed. Plus, the smaller wheel is not so good for adjusting focus if you want to do it by hand. FiLMiC and McPro24fps are pretty similar, although FiLMiC can be a bit fiddly to set, especially with a smaller screen. Plus, McPro24fps has that extra feature with the gamma curve, but maybe Pro24 just edges it here. What are your thoughts? Have you tried focusing with any of these apps? So that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next video.